Okay, I believe that we are good to go. I am going to make sure that we are recording. And we will go ahead and get started once we've clicked over, and I'll hand it off to our my colleague here, Dakota, to kick us off.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to thank you all for attending this webinar today, where we're going to be going over and kind of trying to understand the early signs of Alzheimer's. We're going to be taking a dive into the eyes and brain of someone who is experiencing those early signs of onset Alzheimer's. And we're super excited to have you here today and to be able to share this information with you. So for a little bit of an agenda, we're going to have our introductions here after that. We're going to give a little bit of the program overview just to give you an idea of where we're coming from. And then we're going to dive into embodying Beatrix, who is going to be our individual who's experiencing those early onset signs of Alzheimer's. We're going to be having discussions as well. There'll be polls that will be coming up periodically throughout the presentation. And we ask you to participate in those. It's completely anonymous. The results will be shared, but no one will know who selected what. There'll also be time for a Q&A at the end. If there's any questions or anything you'd like to ask of us, we should have time at the end for that. And then some little announcements and a little closer, and you'll be on your way. So for starters, my name is Dakota Heath. I am the John Shaw Policy and Programs Fellow here at Caregiver Action Network. I am the newest team member here. And I got to say, I couldn't have asked for a better team to help me on this, especially with Nicole being here with me. Nicole?
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole. I'm the Director of Community Initiatives, and I am so thrilled to have you here with us today for what I think will be a really impactful and insightful overview of what some of these early stages of Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia can look like.
So what we plan for this webinar and hope that you leave with this webinar with is insights into why people with dementia or Alzheimer's engage in the world around, like why they engage in the world around them in the ways that are sometimes hard to understand for both them and us. Ideas of how to engage meaningfully, even joyfully, with your loved ones living with dementia or Alzheimer's. Strategies for how to navigate safely and more smoothly through some of the most challenging caregiving situations. It's never easy, but there are ways to make it easier. And I feel as if something like this would be able to allow us to get a better understanding of how we can do that. And as for a little bonus, I did want to say that California residents, there is a no-cost access to this immersive training course through CAN and CalGrows, and we can provide that at the end of the webinar through email. Did you want to touch on this, Nicole, I believe?
Yeah. So just a little bit about some of the other work that we've been doing with the module that we're going to walk you through in just the whole kind of embodied labs experience. So we here at Caregiver Action Network, in addition to doing webinars like this for family caregivers, which is always our prime focus, we've also been able to use this in terms of advocacy. We were located in Washington, D.C., and we're a national organization, so that makes us kind of prime to be advocates on the Hill for family caregivers. So we listen to you, we take your feedback, we take some of the things that you share with us in these types of settings to help us form, some comments and feedback that we want to give to Congress folks on the Hill that are creating laws to make sure that caregiver voices are heard. And so this has been a really powerful tool to help us do that. We've been able to meet with a few Congress people and walk them through the modules and kind of explain, what it entails, how this impacts family caregivers. And I think it's definitely made an impact. So I just want to kind of touch on that as a little bit, outside of the main work that we do directly with family caregivers, how we're also utilizing this to make sure that the caregiver perspective and voice is being heard in a much more broader sense.
So this is one of the first discussions that we're going to have. We're going to be throwing up a poll here, and this is just a little predetermination of how you all feel about these different questions, such as how much do you believe that you know how to deal with very difficult situations? And there's all the ranging from not competent, not at all competent to very competent. How much do you feel that all in all, you're a good caregiver? Uh, Overall, how competent do you feel?
And then I'll touch on the last one, which is how self-confident do you feel? And this is a little bit different from, the competent, because self-confidence means also being able to make some of those choices. We know that caregiving means that there's a lot of unexpected, and there can be some pretty intense situations. And so that self-confidence to be like, I feel confident in my abilities, in the tools that I have at my um, kind of disposal, those tools that we put in our toolbox to help me with some of the day-to-day. So please take a moment and complete the poll. And I believe that the results will be popping up here for you in just a bit. If not, I know that it will be shared um, uh, in a little bit.
I
And of
believe
course,
I believe that it's after they finish it, they start getting the results coming in live to them, because I have the results coming in live to me as of right now as well.
okay, so then let me complete and that would help. So I'm a caregiver myself, so I should submit and we'll see what our poll. Okay, I am seeing some results just coming right in. And so we've got 16 responses. We're going to give just another minute here. And then we'll talk through a little bit what we're seeing. So go ahead and just take a few moments to respond to these poll questions. Should be popping up for you.
I did notice that yes, some of the on the slide itself, it is questions 3 through 6. The questions prior to that weren't relevant for this uh, survey or this poll, so we just wanted to make sure to include the only the questions that would pertain to you guys.
Exactly. So they were more of just kind of the basic introductory type things that we had kind of already covered. So we really wanted to hone in on these questions. And so just giving a general look at the responses that have come in so far, we're seeing that it's kind of coming in at, I would say, just slightly beyond that middle mark. And you should be seeing this as well if you have completed the poll. It should pop up for you and you can go through the questions and put in where you fall. And so falling just past that second star. So right at that 2.5 is what I'm seeing. And so this is really, I think, insightful. And hopefully we're going to have another poll at the end. And we're going to see, okay, what are the responses? And what are the questions? And what are the things that we can do to help you? And so, just giving a general look at the responses that have come in so far, we're seeing that it's kind of coming in at, I would say, just slightly beyond that middle mark. And you should be seeing this as well if you have completed the poll. And what this will do is help us and help you see if going through the Embodied Lab experience helped move that mark for you. If you're able to say, I feel a little bit more self-confident, or I feel a little bit more competent in how to handle specific situations.
And
So,
I am seeing that some individuals are having trouble accessing the poll, and if you are, you can feel free to post your answers in the chat, and we will take those internally. And yes,
yeah,
but I'm seeing a lot of twos, threes, ones, twos, lots of twos, kind of in that middle ground area. Yeah, that makes a lot of these make sense. A lot of these make sense.
okay, yeah. And so the responses that we're seeing in the chat are very much, I think, falling in line with what we're seeing with the results for the folks who have put this in as well. So I'm sorry that some of you are having some issues with the polls. We'll see if we can make this a little bit smoother when we get to the post experience poll as well. So now I'm going to turn this over to Dakota, and he's going to take us through the the experience.
Yes. Make sure that sound is included. All right, just making sure. You can see my screen, Nicole. Everyone can see it?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So, as we said, we're going to be starting the experience now. We're going to be going through the Beatrix lab, through the first signs, early stages of Alzheimer's and dementia. In this lab, we're going to be embodying Beatrix. She is a middle-aged Latina woman. As progressive Alzheimer's disease causes changes in her brain, from the onset of symptoms to late stage disease and the transition to residential care. But as I said, in this one, we'll be focusing on those first signs, early stages. Hopefully, after this, you'll understand some of the profound effects Alzheimer's can have on daily life, from processing and cognition to relationships and emotional well being. So I did want to mention first off that while in the experience, you are going to be embodying Beatrice, and at times you might hear things coming through your computer or see things that may look a little bit funky or sound a little bit off. Don't worry, that is not audio glitch. That's not your computer malfunctioning. It's supposed to be that way. You're supposed to be experiencing how Beatrice would be experiencing these situations. And I also did want to say that strong emotional reactions can be common. There have been times in the past where whenever we were doing one of these presentations in person, that people would come up to us and say how impactful it was on them and how they needed to step away for a bit. And we completely understand that if during this you would need to, completely understandable. And we, as I said, understand. Um, so moving forward. Um, so in this module, we'll be experiencing some sensory and expressive changes in family dynamics surrounding functional changes. And we're hopefully going to learn how lobes of the brain work together to execute complex functions. That's going to be more at the beginning of this, just to kind of give you a little bit of information there. You'll learn about early indications of cognitive changes associated with dementia and Alzheimer's, challenges associated with visual and auditory distortion, and strategies for successful communication and independence preservation. Within the module, there'll be some points where we will see little boxes pop up with plus signs in them. And throughout the module, you can click on those and they give you a bit more information about what's going on around Beatrice, or how situations around Beatrice could have changed, or anyone in that situation with Alzheimer's or dementia, how those situations could be handled. or just some helpful tips for you. So a little bit more information about Beatrice to start off. Beatrice Rogers has been a math teacher for nearly 4 decades. Beatrice enjoys spending time with her family, especially her grandson Junior, cooking and going to Mass every Sunday. Beatrice loves listening to music and is always ready to dance. And as we go through this, it's going to be a few year time span. So you're going to see a few different time cuts, but those are just showing the progression as it moves on throughout Beatrice's life. I'm also going to be turning on closed captioning in case there's any issue hearing some of the audio. So that will be there just in case. And this is in a 360 view. So I'm going to be clicking and dragging across the screen just so you can get a better view of Beatrice's entire surroundings, um, as well as this being a uh, uh, online experience. The reason it's in 360 is this is also a VR experience as well. If you had a VR headset at home, you'd be able to experience this entire module through the eyes of Beatrice in VR to make it even more immersive for yourself. Here we go.
Hi, Beatrice. I know we've known each other our whole lives, but let me formally introduce myself. I am your brain. There have been some changes happening to me that I need you to understand, but I think it will make the most sense if first I tell you about how I work. I'm made up of four pairs of lobes: the frontal lobes, temporal lobes, parietal lobes, and occipital lobes. I also have a cerebellum and a brainstem. I use all of these structures to help you function in 5 different ways: paying attention, remembering things, completing tasks, communicating with others, and knowing where we are in space. When we solve problems, different parts of the brain are used. See for yourself when you complete this math equation. Take your time. I'll be here by your side.
I know what X is. Can I write it on the board? Mrs. Rogers, could you just tell us? Miss Roger, are you going to finish the equation on the whiteboard? Miss Rogers, do we have any homework? Class is almost over.
Class is over already?
Grandson's getting big.
Grandson?
He's got your eyes, you know. Mom, can you watch him, please?
What a cute baby.
Mom! Mom. I told you to watch him. Okay? Why not?
But the trees are too big.
Yeah, they're big. You gotta be safe, buddy.
Hey, Mom,
Who is that?
look what Junior found.
Why does she have my purse?
Kid.
Trying to take away my car.
Hey, you said you would come and play. You okay?
Of course I'm okay.
Mom?
Why do you keep asking me if I'm okay? I'm fine.
Grandma? Maybe we should go home soon and get some rest. Maybe you're coming down with something. Grandma, the next.
This is one of those situations in which we see a little box pop up that gives you just a little bit more information about what's going on. So, people experiencing early stages Alzheimer's disease often experience increased paranoia and anxiety. You might have noticed that with Beatrice thinking that they were taking her purse or they were going to steal her car.
Excited about Easter this weekend. Are you excited?
Easter already?
Did you buy your favorite candies yet?
Only one more thing. What thing? Oh, right. Flower. Flower. Yeah, flower. Flower. What was I looking for?
Excuse me, miss. Can I help you find something?
So, communication is most successful when delivered in short, simple sentences. People living with Alzheimer's disease do best with simple, single step directions and may get overwhelmed if too much information is given at one time. Knowing that, I want you to listen to how this grocery store assistant helps Beatrice, and even without him knowing her diagnoses, how he could have perhaps handled the situation a bit differently.
You need baking flour? It's right back there at the bend and towards the light. Have a good day.
What did he say? Flowers? I got those already.
Hi, Mom. We're here. Hey, what are you still doing in your PJs? Are you not leaving, Mom? I would have come earlier if I knew.
You what?
Hey, Junior, could you please come in here? Could you wipe up the counters for me? And Mom, if you finish cutting those potatoes, I'll take care of everything else.
Did Grandma make her cake this time?
It's Easter.
Thanks so, sweetheart.
Oh, it's Easter?
Hey,
Hey, baby, how you doing? Oh, man, it's a mess in here. Mom's done her cooking, yeah.
What's she talking about?
We kissed you at church this morning. What'd she do with the BJ?
I think she's under the weather today. I keep telling her to get dressed, but she's focused on cutting those potatoes.
We don't want any.
Hello.
How are ya? Who's this beautiful lady you guys going on?
Why are you heard so much about you?
Why is there stuff on the sofa? Where's the sofa?
Okay. Just to let everyone know, we're running a little behind on the food, but it'll be ready in about a hour.
What? We're arriving.
I know. I'm sorry. Tom is one of the weather.
Who's Tom?
He's just been cutting those potatoes in her BJ's all morning.
Why are these people here?
But she always gets so dressed up for these things.
Why are the eggs in Easter?
Grandma didn't make us pound cake.
Mommy forgot.
Finding things in particular places may be an indication of early stage Alzheimer's disease. As you can see, he found the eggs in the freezer, and that's typically where you wouldn't put them.
To rake the cake?
I can cake it. Where's the flour? This is small chef.
We have to have cake. Cut the cake up.
Okay, no one is leaving. No one is leaving. Everyone, go into the giving loom. We'll be ready soon.
She's still cutting toast.
Tell them. You have to tell them.
Grandma?
Are you through? Take out your note and read it to them.
My brain isn't running as fast as it used to. It's like there's something missing. I'm mixed up. So that was just a short little snippet of all of the trainings that we have here available. Now I'm going to throw it back over to Nicole on the PowerPoint. I will stop sharing my screen.
Thank you. So what I'm going to do now is I have left our first poll live during the time, because I know some people are having some issues with polls. So I'm really sorry about that. I know that we had tried to make sure that everything was running smoothly. So your feedback has been really, really helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and close this poll. So thank you for those that submitted their responses. And I'm going to now launch our second poll here. And then I will get my slides back up for you all. Okay, so you should see a poll.
Yes. And again, if you don't see the poll once Nicole has her slides back up, it will have the questions to the poll on the slides. So you can just answer 1, 2, 3, or 4 there.
Yep. So we'll give folks, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So just give me a second here.
Thank you. If you are having trouble, evidently it seems like if you click in the chat, oh, okay. That might make sense as well. It might be dealing with your settings that you have set up with Teams at this moment. That could be a possibility.
Again, thank you all for keeping us in the know. This is our first time that we've used Teams for this kind of webinar. So these little things that pop up that we can help streamline for our next presentation. We're going to be doing these monthly, which is very exciting. And so, well, we're taking this feedback so that maybe next month we can keep all of this pretty streamlined. So you should be seeing our poll. I know that we're getting close to our time here, and I want to be mindful of that. So we'll give folks just another minute or two, and we'll go through some of these questions.
We would love to have as many people as you can bring.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, I see we've got 13 responses. We'll give just another moment here, and we will poke through a couple of these questions here, and then we will we'll wrap things up.
But yes, if you can see the screen, these are the questions that are also in the poll. So if you unfortunately aren't able to participate in the poll, as I said, posting your answers in the chat just gives us an idea as well of how the differences are.
Yep. So our first question here is, after experiencing the training, so after you've gone through this walkthrough of this particular module, how much do you believe that you've learned to deal with these difficult situations? So you've got your range here from not at all competent to very competent. And really think about, you know, again, and I really appreciate, I think Jean had chatted, you know, that there wasn't necessarily a change in the answers, but did find that perspective from, you know, the loved one, the individual that's living with Alzheimer's, really interesting. So I think that that's such powerful and important feedback too. Maybe it doesn't necessarily change that number for you, but again, it's all about how does this maybe change your perspective, and how might this impact the way that I care for my loved one with Alzheimer's? Is there something that I'm able to extract here to say, oh, now I have a different a different kind of insight to what my loved one may be experiencing. And so when this situation comes up, I have a different way of perhaps thinking about it. So again, our second question, how do you feel that you're a good caregiver? And I think that good, competent kind of go hand in hand. Competent means that you've got the resources and the skills to really do the work that we think of as caregivers. And a good caregiver can be a little bit more generalized. But one of the things that we always like to say is that there's not necessarily a good or bad way to be a caregiver. Every caregiving situation is so unique because every individual is unique. And so, as long as you are providing the care that your loved one needs and supports that your loved one needs based on their kind of unique situation, then you're being a good caregiver. After going through this module, do you feel a little bit more competent? Is there something that you've been able to extract to be like, okay, this is good. Now I can move on a little bit. And I'm going to leave this last question here for Dakota to walk us through.
Yes, thank you. And lastly, after experiencing the trainings, how self-confident do you feel as opposed to before? Just kind of getting a gauge of how the information provided from this training could have benefited you in just making you feel a little bit more confident in handling situations such as the ones that even Beatrice or her family found themselves in.
Exactly. Okay. So again, I'm seeing, just poking through some of the results, I do see a slight increase in where people are falling with these questions. So I think that's some really good insights. But again, really taking in what you guys are saying in the chat, which is really, really great, about just the perspective of kind of shifting that view to our loved one with Alzheimer's or dementia and having an understanding of those unique experiences. So I'm going to move my slide here. I'm going to keep this slide. I'm going to keep the poll open so that you guys can continue to fill out. And we're going to talk through just a couple of additional resources that we have that may be beneficial to you. The first one that I want to throw out here is our caregiver help desk. So like I mentioned before, all caregivers and caregiver situations are unique. And we talk a lot about the general kind of resources and things that are really beneficial to all caregivers. We do have some, obviously, disease and condition specific resources as well. There may be questions or things that pop up that you want that one-on-one support. And that's where our caregiver help desk comes in. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's kind of like a customer support line for family caregivers. So if you have a specific question or you're looking for a specific resource, you can reach out to them. The number here is on your screen. You can reach out by phone. If you go to our website, caregiveraction.org, there's also the capacity to chat, because sometimes you want to talk on the phone, sometimes you don't. You don't have the ability to talk on the phone, so we want to make it super accessible. It is not a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week support line. Its hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern, but you can reach out anytime. And if you reach out outside of those hours, they are really good at getting back to you within like a business day or two max. And so if you call, you can leave a voicemail. If you send a chat, it will be sent as an email. And so they'll be able to get back to you. Good.
Any questions while we still have time? I know that we're over time, and I apologize for that. But we would like to take a few minutes to see if there was any questions that you all had that we may be able to answer in the time. Put them in the chat, and we'll do our best to get all of them that we can. It looks like there's also some in the Q&A as well.
Mm.
Potential. Oh, maybe not.
No, I don't see anything.
I had a little red bubble pop up on my Q&A, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, this is good. All right. So yes, there will be a recording available afterwards, and it will also be on our website. So you can go there. For those of you who joined a little bit early as we were doing a little bit of prep, the recording that you may get from Teams, you have that in, so you'll get a little behind the scenes tweak with us. But we are going to have the webinar available on the website so that you can go back and watch it and share it with others as well. And like we mentioned before, we're going to be doing these monthly. So I'm going to very quickly, as people are kind of exiting, I want to make sure that you have the links here to.
One quick thing, Nicole.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I am seeing some questions come through in the
Oh, yeah,
chat.
yeah, yeah.
So Jean, you had a specific question regarding nighttime care and where you might ask that. A perfect place to ask that would be our help desk. Our help desk is filled with individuals who are professionals in caregiving, and they should be able to assist you in any way you need with those questions you may be having. And to the hearing issue, help desk would also be good with that, but I will say that something that you can do is try and enunciate your words, try and speak slowly and clearly with them. Don't try and give a lot of different, I don't want to call them orders, but a lot of different questions or directives at once. You wouldn't want to confuse them. And again, when it comes to the hearing issue, speak up, enunciate as much as you can. If they're having trouble understanding, you could always try asking the question in a different way.
Yep. Yes. Jean is exactly right. And one of the things that we do have available, we have some content that's specifically around communication techniques for individuals with Alzheimer's or dementia. So it touches a little bit on some of the hearing aspects, but also, how to have conversations, keep your loved ones focus and attention, what to happen if there's some difficulties with communications. So if you have a kind of a want for that, you can always reach out to us at info@caregiveraction.org. Both Dakota and I also kind of check in on that account. So I know that some people are very iffy about reaching out to an info email address. Like, am I actually going to hear from anyone? You will hear from us. So if you have some specific ones for that, you can always reach out to us, and I'm happy to send that your way. And I see that you had a follow-up question here. Does this hearing issue affect all cases of the disease? Now, I think that communication issues, whether it be, being able to verbalize, this all kind of is connected to some of the cognitive issues that are connected with Alzheimer's or dementia. The way that it's explained within Embodied Labs is oftentimes an individual will know what they want to say and think that they're saying it a specific way, but the words just aren't coming out that they think that they're saying. And conversely, you may think that you're saying something one way, a very simple sentence, but your loved one with Alzheimer's or dementia may hear something completely different or hear different words. And so it can be sometimes a little bit of trial and error to figure out, what are some communication techniques. Sometimes it's assistive devices, technology that can help. And really trying to plan around like, okay, well, what's going to be the most effective ways so that we're able to stay in communication and it not be overwhelming or upsetting to either of us. So, but there's no while this may be something that happens in a majority of cases for folks with Alzheimer's or dementia, there's really no kind of all stamp on these things. It's going to happen in various degrees. For some folks, communication isn't that much of an issue, but certainly as a disease progresses, it may become more so. So it's all going to vary. It's not something that you can really say it happens for everyone at this specific time. But it's always good to have those tools, that information ready to go so that as that may occur, you're kind of set and you know some steps that may be useful.
Thank you for that, Nicole.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Well, I know that we are at time. Thank you all so much for being here. You guys will be receiving some follow-up emails from us. So please feel free to reach out if you have additional questions. And we hope that we'll see you for our future sessions. Like I said, we're going to be doing these every month, and they're going to be focusing in on some slightly different things. So we hope that you'll join us.
Thank you all again, and we appreciate your time.